Hi, welcome to live stream yoga with Louise. Tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today we are going to fashion a continual dumbbell circuit using a single dumbbell and not putting the dumbbell down once you've picked it up. I'm using a 2 kilogram weight, but you can go lighter or heavier. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify when you need to, take a rest when you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to begin today's class picking up your selected dumbbell, holding it in one hand, and setting yourself up more or less in the middle of the mat in a comfortable parallel stand. Give me a bend in the knees, and then keeping a long stretch through the spine. Give me an L lean forward and push your bum back slightly. Place your support hand on your thigh and bend the elbow of your working arm, almost hugging the dumbbell in towards your chest. Try not to drop lower on one side, so try to keep as even as you can through the shoulders. We're going to do a dumbbell fly and back. Rinse and repeat for 10 on one side. Keeping belly to spine throughout. Once you've done 10, transition as quickly as you can to repeat on the second side. Our switches between are going to be as brisk as you can manage them. Switch to the first hand. Relax the dumbbell down and then give me a rowing motion up and down, thinking dumbbell to sky. Remember to keep as even through the shoulders as you can. Switching as briskly as you can once you've completed a set on one side. Switching back to the first side, you're going to begin across the midline and then think elbow to sky. And think of this as pulling a lawnmower chain, and you're going to shoot for 10 oblique lifts. Keeping those switches nice and brisk. Coming back to a nice tall standing frame. Keeping the dumbbell heavy at your side, you're going to brush it down the chain of your leg and back. 10 brisk, tick-tock-like slides down the leg. Brisk change to do the same on the second side. Look for a softness in the knees and then grab the dumbbell head between both hands, floating the dumbbell overhead with a soft bend to the elbows. You're going to begin to circle in one direction for 10. And then circle in the opposite direction for 10. Then grabbing hold of the dumbbell and overlaying one hand in front of the other. There's a slight overlay of the hands. We're going to do a little tick-tock to either side for 10. And then think of dropping a hammer towards the floor and back. Do 10, leading with one hand, and then change, leading with the second hand. Then grasp the dumbbell head between both hands. We're going to heel toe out, and you're going to come into a deep squat using your elbows to open the legs a little bit wider and pressing actively with both hands into the dumbbell. If you need to use a little sway motion side to side to allow the groin to open up gently, you can. Then when you're ready, find your way onto the bottom to a seat. Don't let go of the dumbbell. You're going to grasp the dumbbell head in both hands. Sitting up nice and tall, you're going to give me an L lean off the center line, almost squeezing the elbows in towards your body line, and we're going to play with a side to side Russian twist. From here, we're going to continue that fall back into a hollow hold, and we're going to hold for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, relaxing onto the back, not letting go of the dumbbell, don't put it down. We're going to find our way into a modified dead bug. You're going to draw both legs to 90. You're going to place one hand on one thigh, or let's actually do arm to sky, and we're going to keep the other dumbbell gently connected to the top of the thigh. We're going to open up the working side into a long line and back, and we're going to shoot for roughly 10 repetitions. Once you've done 10, we're going to switch sides. Then ground both feet, grab hold of the dumbbell head between both hands, relax your elbow points to the mat, allowing the dumbbell to either rest on your chest or just hover off your chest. We're coming into a chest lift with a little leg reach through, so make sure you've opened up your legs wide enough to be able to reach through with the dumbbell. We're going to begin in neutral. We're going to find a 12 o'clock tilt and imprint. We're going to peel our chest off the mat, reaching the dumbbell through, pausing, holding that contraction, and then leading softly back down. Shoot for 10 repetitions. Once you've done 10, you're going to draw the legs back up into a tabletop line. On your anchoring side, you're going to press with the dumbbell into your anchoring thigh, and you're going to extend the other leg to 90. We're going to come into a drop pattern, halfway and back, or all the way to hovering and back. And you're going to keep pressing and resisting with that dumbbell on your stabilizing side. Once you've done 10 drops on one side, you're going to change to repeat on the second side. Once you've done 10 drops on the second side, you're going to come to a rolling like a ball, and you're just going to grab the dumbbell head in both hands. You can keep squeezing with your elbows. You're going to rock up, drag the feet into extension, do a little spine stretch forward, and then roll back again 10 times. Almost brushing the dumbbell over the chain of your legs and maybe trying to reach just past the toes as you come into a soft forward fold. Last one. You're going to grab hold of the dumbbell in one hand, and you're going to try to extend the dumbbell out to shoulder height and stand up, keeping that dumbbell at about shoulder height. Then grab hold of the dumbbell in both hands, relax it to the top of your thighs, coming into a roll down pattern and a roll up pattern. Thinking chin to chest, almost hollowing out your belly slightly and rounding out the back in a cat-like stretch, using the added weight of the dumbbell as you're rolling down to get more of a stretch into the spine and the back. Moving with your breath, exhaling to roll down, taking a recovery breath, and then using your whole exhale to restack and realign. Let's do 2 more. Then we're going to repeat the circuit. You know where you're going to now. Try to move with fluidity, transitioning seamlessly from one hand to the next, from one movement to the next. Grab hold of the dumbbell in your first hand. Soften the knees. Give me an L lean forward and a bum push back. Relax your stabilizing hand on your thigh. We're starting with that little fly motion. 10. Switch. Repeating 10 on the second side, holding the frame steady. Switching back to the first side for a row, thinking elbow to sky and then nice long arm. Switching seamlessly and remembering to keep as even as you can through the shoulders while playing. Then standing up nice and tall, doing our tick-tock slide down one leg. Transitioning and doing exactly the same on the second side. Softening the knees, grasping the dumbbell head between both hands, floating the dumbbell overhead to circle on the ceiling for 10, moving in one direction. Once you've done 10 in one direction, begin to trace for 10 in the opposite direction. Then find your way into your steeple tick-tock, leading for 10 with one hand in front. And leading for 10 with this second hand in front. Center align your dumbbell and then think of making the one dumbbell head heavy to the floor as if you were dropping a hammer, bending through the elbows and then coming back to your start position. We're going to do 10 leading with one hand in front and then swap hands leading for 10 with the second hand. Do a nice seamless transition from one hand to the next. Then grab hold of the dumbbell heads, one in each hand. We're coming into our deep squat line. You could do a midway squat and press if you prefer. Hold, nice little stretch through the spine. Press both hands into the dumbbell heads. Use your elbows to prise those inner thighs open. And when you're ready, find your way to a seat. Don't drop the dumbbell. We're coming into our working Russian twists. We're going to do an L lean off the center line and then start to fire up through those obliques. Fall back into a hollow hold. Bend your knees, ground your feet. Drawing both knees into a tabletop position. We're going to float one arm to the sky. And actually, let's float the dumbbell this time alongside our partner. Opening up on the working side and coming back. Once you've done 10 on one side, we're going to transition seamlessly to repeat 10 on the second side. Then grounding both feet, grabbing hold of the dumbbell head in both hands, anchoring through your elbows, coming up into a little chest lift with a reach through and pause, and then a reground to the mat. 10, slow and control. Holding that chest lift contraction once you found it, and reaching through with the dumbbell, almost as if somebody was tugging the dumbbell and trying to pull it through the legs. Last one. Hold for 10. Peel back down to the mat. Float both legs to table. Anchor and press with the dumbbell on one thigh. Relax the other arm alongside the body and extend your working leg to 90. Keep pressing and resisting on the anchoring side with the dumbbell as you begin to find a drop pattern on the other side with 10. Once you've done 10 on one side, transition seamlessly to repeat on side 2. Coming into our rolling like a ball with a little spine stretch fold. And as the spine begins to limber up, you can float those arms alongside the ears, almost framing. And as you come into the spine stretch, shooting for roughly 10 repetitions. Then grasping the dumbbell in one hand, floating it at shoulder height, or you could do an overhead position, not letting go of the dumbbell as you find your way into a stand. Then grasping the dumbbell head in both hands and starting to find a working roll down and roll up pattern, working with your breath. Finding your way back to your original start position on the mat. Resting your support hand on your thigh, bend through the knees, give me an L, lean forward with a bum push back. Bend your elbow, almost curling the dumbbell in towards your chest, and then find your fly pattern for 10 on the first side. Repeat the fly on the second side. Keeping belly to spine throughout. Back to the first side for our rowing motion. Ten rows on the second side. Then fire up through the obliques as you find that lawnmower chain pull for 10. Repeating the lawnmower chain pull for 10 on the second side. Then finding your tick-tock drop slide. Repeating your tick-tock drop slide on the second side. Then softening the knees, grabbing hold of the dumbbell head in both hands, floating your dumbbell overhead to circle out for 10 in one direction. Circle out for 10 in the opposite direction. Then think of finding your steeple frame or your steeple tick-tock, leading for 10 with one hand in front. And then leading for 10 with the second hand in front. Then think of dropping that hammer, leading for 10 with one hand in front. Leading for 10 with the second hand in front. Finding your way into your either mid or a low squat, pressing into the dumbbell head with both hands. Grabbing hold of the dumbbell in one hand, finding your way to a seat, making sure that you've got enough runway behind to play. We're going to find our way into our Russian twist. So nice tall seat, L lean off the center line, and then twisting side to side. We're coming into our fall back into a hollow hold from here. Finding a nice U-frame through the body, so think lower and mid back imprinted, shoulder blades off the mat, legs off the mat, holding that U, pressing into the dumbbell. Then release the contraction, find your way to the floor, grab your dumbbell in your working hand, float both hands to 90, float both legs to table. You're going to keep your control side where it is, and you're going to extend and drop on your working side for 10. Transitioning and doing the same on the second side. Grounding your feet, preparing for your chest lift with a little reach through. Anchor your elbows, find neutral, find your tilt and your scoop to feet up into the chest lift and reach through. Pause in that contraction for at least 3 seconds. Then whisper softly, bring yourself back down to rinse and repeat. Grabbing hold of the dumbbell in your working hand, you're going to draw your knee to 90. You're going to press with the dumbbell into your thigh. You're going to anchor your other hand alongside the body. Float the other leg to 90 and begin to find a drop pattern on one side and a press and resist on the other side. Transition seamlessly when you're ready. Once you've done 10 on either side, you're going to find your way into your rolling like a ball with the spine stretch for 10. And you might find that you start to roll to one end of the mat, no problem. Just bum walk your way back to the top end of the mat. Once you've done roughly 10, you're going to grab the dumbbell in one hand, holding it either out in front of you or overhead, keeping it overhead as you find your way into a standing frame. Then 10 roll downs, grabbing hold of the dumbbell heads in both hands, working with your breath. Find your rhythm. Last one. Up and down, maybe ending in the forward fold this time. Maybe peeling to a halfway lift and then fold it down again. Halfway lift and fold. Peel all the way up to conclude your continual dumbbell circuit for today. Thank you so much for coming out and playing. Hope you enjoyed today's workout. Till next time, keep it light.